The storm howled across the mountains of Eridane 4. Snow slashed sideways, biting through armor and cloth alike. The wind roared so fiercely it drowned out even the groan of the ice fields shifting under their own weight. Marcus Hale adjusted the seal on his thermal cloak and pushed forward, his boots crunching into layers of frost. He had been searching for survivors since dawn. The last skirmish had driven hundreds of refugees into the frozen wilds, and though most had been evacuated by shuttle, reports said a few stragglers were missing. Marcus wasn't one to leave anyone behind. His scanner beeped faintly, drawing his gaze toward a jagged outcropping. A cavern mouth yawned there, half buried in snow and ice. Weak thermal readings flickered on his wrist display. Someone or something was inside. The cavern was colder than death. Marcus ducked beneath hanging icicles, his lamp cutting through the gloom. The walls glittered with frost, every breath puffing out in mist. He scanned again. The heat signature was faint, fading. "Hello," he called, his voice echoing. Silence. Then, so soft he almost missed it, a cough. He rushed forward. There, huddled in the corner of the cavern, lay two figures, a woman and a child. The woman's skin was pale silver, faintly luminous under the lamplight. Her hair clung damply to her face, and her arms were wrapped tightly around the small girl in her lap. The child's eyes fluttered open weakly, pupils wide and alien. Marcus dropped to his knees. "Don't move. I've got you." The woman's lips parted, trembling. "Human." Her voice cracked like brittle glass. "Yes," Marcus said firmly. He pulled his cloak off, wrapping it around both mother and child. The girl whimpered at the sudden change, then burrowed against him. "They left us," the woman whispered, shivering. "The soldiers came, burning, everyone ran. We had nowhere to go." Marcus gritted his teeth. "You're safe now." He set up his emergency heater. The cavern filled with a faint hum as warmth began to spread. Marcus stripped off his gloves and rubbed the child's tiny hands, trying to bring life back to them. The girl blinked up at him, confused but clinging to her mother's sleeve. "What's your name?" he asked gently. The woman hesitated. "Liara." She glanced at the child. "This is Elin." Marcus nodded. "Marcus Hale. Alliance Search and Rescue. You're lucky I found you when I did." Liara's eyes glistened. "Lucky," she whispered bitterly. "My mate, he stayed behind to fight. We waited for him, but he never came. I tried to keep her warm. Tried to." Her voice broke, and she pressed her face against her daughter's hair. Marcus's chest tightened. He knew the look of someone carrying too much grief. "You did everything you could," he said softly. "And now you've got me." Hours passed as the storm raged outside. Marcus shared ration bars, coaxing Liara and Elin to eat tiny bites. He wrapped them both in thermal blankets, checking their vitals every few minutes. Slowly, color returned to their faces. At one point, Elin whispered faintly, "Mama, is he an angel?" Liara's lips trembled, but she managed a weak smile.
"No, child.
He's a human." Marcus chuckled quietly. "Close enough, I guess." For the first time, Liara's eyes softened. When the storm finally began to break, Marcus prepared for the journey back. "I've got a beacon that'll punch through once we reach the ridge," he explained, tightening the straps on his pack. "A rescue shuttle will pick us up."
Can you walk?
Liara tried to stand, but her legs buckled. Marcus caught her easily. "You'll ride with me," he said, matter of fact. He scooped her into his arms, settling Elin onto his back with his safety harness. Liara protested weakly. "You can't carry both. Watch me." He stepped out into the frozen dawn, the wind whipping around him. Every step was a battle against the weight, but he didn't falter. The journey was brutal. The snowdrifts reached his knees. Ice cracked treacherously beneath his boots. Yet he pressed on, every breath a cloud of fire in his lungs. Behind him, Elin whimpered occasionally, but he soothed her with gentle words. Liara, cradled against his chest, whispered once, "Why? Why risk yourself for us?" Marcus looked down at her, his jaw tight. Because no one deserves to be left to die in the dark.
Not you.
Not her. Not anyone. Her eyes widened slightly, and then she closed them, resting her head against his shoulder. By the time they reached the ridge, Marcus's muscles burned. He set the beacon, slamming his fist against the activator. A green flare shot into the sky, cutting through the thinning storm. Minutes later, the distant whine of engines echoed. A rescue shuttle descended, kicking up snow as its landing struts touched down. Medics rushed forward. 2 civilians, Marcus barked, lowering Liara gently into their arms. Severe hypothermia, malnutrition. Get them warm. Liara's hand caught his wrist, weak but insistent. Her eyes met his, shimmering with gratitude. "You came," she whispered. "No one else did, but you came." Marcus squeezed her hand. "Always." Days later, in the med bay, Liara woke to the steady hum of the station. Elin was curled beside her, wrapped in blankets. Warmth filled the room, a stark contrast to the cavern's icy tomb. Marcus sat in a chair at her bedside, arms crossed, half asleep. When Liara stirred, his eyes snapped open. "How do you feel?" She blinked, her throat tightening.
Alive.
"Because of you." He shrugged lightly. "Just doing my job." But she shook her head.
No.
"Many saw us run. Many turned away. But you came back. You carried us." Tears welled in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you." Marcus leaned forward, his voice gentle. "You don't have to. Just live. Raise your daughter. That's thanks enough." Elin stirred, blinking up at him. Then, with childlike certainty, she whispered, "Papa." Liara gasped softly, covering her mouth. Marcus froze. Then slowly he smiled. "Well, that's a first." But neither mother nor child corrected it. Weeks later, Liara and Elin walked out of the medbay together, stronger. Marcus escorted them to the civilian quarters. Along the way, Liara paused, turning to face him. "Before that cavern, I thought hope had already died with my mate. I thought Elin would freeze with me in the dark. But then you came." Her voice trembled, but her eyes were steady. "You gave us more than warmth. You gave us back a future." Marcus swallowed hard. He wasn't a man used to such words. You keep each other alive. That's what matters most. Liara reached out, touching his hand briefly. "And you? Don't forget, you're part of that future now, too." As Marcus watched them disappear into the crowd of the station, he felt something shift inside him. He had gone into the mountains searching for survivors. Instead, he had found something else, something worth far more. 2 lives, once fading in the cold, now burning bright again. And in the echo of a child's voice calling him Papa, Marcus realized that sometimes saving others meant saving yourself too.